you ever stopped to think about the power of two simple words? I'm sorry. These words can heal wounds, rebuild trust, and strengthen relationships. And yet, let's be honest, actually saying them can feel uncontrollable, awkward, and sometimes even terrifying. So, why is apologizing so hard, even though we all know it's the right thing to do? When I was 8 years old, I had my first lesson in apologizing. It was one of those small childhood mistakes that somehow feel like the end of the world at the time. I spilled juice all over my friend's prized Pokemon cards, and now, to an 8 year old, Pokemon cards were practically sacred relics. So when my friend discovered the soggy mess, my mom nudged me to go apologize. So, me, being the man I am, I puffed out my chest, mustered all my courage, and said, I'm sorry you left them where I could spill juice on them. Let's say that didn't go over so well. My friend was furious, my mom looked at me disappointed, and I was left confused why my apology didn't fix anything. And that day, I learned an important lesson. Apologies are more than just saying words, they require efforts, understanding, and sincerity. So, fast forward to today, and I'd like to think I've gotten better at apologizing. But the truth is, even as adults, many of us struggle with it. Whether it's owning up to a mistake at work, apologizing after a fight with a loved one, or even saying sorry to a stranger we bumped into on the sidewalk. Apologies never seem to get easier. But here's the thing, apologies aren't just polite gestures, they're essential tools for building and maintaining relationships. And so today I want to talk about why apologies matter. Why are they so hard? And what can we do to make them better? Along the way, I'll share examples, insights, and a broader look at how apologies, or the lack of them, shape our lives and our society. So let's start with an essential question. Why do so many of us struggle to apologize? And one of the main reasons is our pride. Apologizing can feel like we're saying we're wrong or we're weak. We're taught to aim for success, to always be right, and to defend our position. So saying, I messed up, can sometimes feel like going against everything we've taught. And then there's fear. We worry that apologizing might make things worse. What if the person doesn't forgive us? What if they lose all the respect they have for us? Apologizing makes us vulnerable, and this can be scary. But here's the truth, apologizing isn't just about weakness, it's mainly about strength. It takes courage to admit where we're going wrong, and it shows emotional maturity and a willingness to learn. Yet, even when we muster the courage to apologize, we often get it wrong. Think about those fake apologies we've all heard. I'm sorry you feel that way, or I'm sorry if anyone was offended. These aren't real apologies. They're sort of dodging the responsibility. They shift the blame onto the other person, as if I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, but it's kind of your fault for feeling hurt. We use these fake apologies because they're easier. They let us save face without really admitting fault. But they also leave the other person feeling unheard and disrespected, which defeats the whole purpose of apologizing in the first place. So, why do apologies matter so much? Imagine a relationship like a glass vase. And every time we hurt someone and don't apologize, it's like tapping that vase with a small hammer. Now, a single tap may not shatter it, but over time, those cracks do add up. And a sincere apology is the glue that repairs those cracks before they spread. It can stop small problems from turning into big problems. Studies have shown that apologies help rebuild trust and strengthen connections. So when we apologize, we're not just admitting fault. We're showing the other person that we care about their feelings and that we value the relationship. Now, this doesn't just apply to personal relationships. Apologies are just as important in workplaces, communities, and even nations. Take workplaces, for example. Research shows that when leaders admit to their mistake and apologize, employees are more likely to trust them and stay loyal to them. So this creates a culture of accountability and mutual respect. Similarly, in politics, apologies can bring healing and unity. A good example is Canada's official apology to the Indigenous community for past injustices. And so, while an apology alone can't erase history, it can be a powerful first step towards resolving the conflict. But what happens when apologies don't happen? We refuse to take the responsibility. We let the conflicts grow. And sooner or later, these misunderstandings turn into grudges, and these grudges can last for years. Think about your own experience. Have you ever been in a situation where someone hurt you, but they refuse to apologize? How did that make you feel? Probably angry, hurt, or even betrayed. And that's the power of an apology, or moreover, the lack of one. And so now we know why apologies are important. So let's talk about how to do them right. Now, a good apology has three key parts: taking responsibility, showing empathy, and making amends. The first step is to take responsibility. A real apology starts with owning up to what you did. Don't make excuses or shift the blame. For example, instead of saying, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't have left your Pokemon cards out, I should have said, I'm sorry for spilling juice all over your cards. That was very careless of me. And now the second step is to show empathy. Let the other person know that you understand how your actions affected them. For example, I'm sorry I yelled at you becomes into I'm sorry I yelled at you. I know that must have hurt your feelings. Empathy shows that you care about their experience and not your own guilt. And now the final step is to offer to make amends. Ask how you can make things right, even a small gesture like replacing what was damaged or offering to help. This shows that you're serious about fixing the situation. If I had offered to replace my friend's Pokemon cards, that would have shown that I was truly sorry. So let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Apologies don't just repair individual relationships, they can impact entire communities. Think about how much conflict in the world could be avoided with a simple apology. In workplaces, sincere apologies can resolve tensions between coworkers. In communities, they can prevent small disagreements from turning into larger divides. And on a global scale, they can help heal historic wounds. But what happens when apologies are missing? Well, without apologies, misunderstandings turn into grudges. And grudges, like I said, create division. A lack of accountability can lead to resentment, anger, and even hatred. And so, in a world where apologies are rare, people feel unheard and undervalued. And this is where a society starts to break down. If we want a world with less conflict and more understanding, it starts with something as simple as saying, I'm sorry. So, where did this leave us? I leave you with a challenge. The next time you make a mistake, because let's face it, we all will, don't take the easy way out. Don't offer a half hearted apology or try to just brush it off. Instead, take full responsibility, show empathy, and offer to make things right. Apologies aren't just about fixing the past, they're about creating a better future. They show the people in your life that you value them and that they create a world where honesty, empathy, and accountabilities aren't just generic ideals, they're actions. Because at the end of the day, an apology isn't just a phrase, it's a choice. And it's a choice that can make all the difference. Thank you.